How can customers tell a difference between us and the competition? But there is no product that is required to become a commodity. It depends on how you treat it. Getting up and getting a cup of coffee in the morning is not a new or novel idea. People have been doing it for centuries. Starbucks comes along and differentiates coffee. Starbucks found a way to differentiate coffee. Begin by asking this question: what if everything went exactly right? At this point, you're going, Scott, you don't know much about insurance. It never goes that way, right? But you've got to ask yourself that question. If everything went exactly right, what would that look like? What would that sound like? What would that feel like? How do we do that? Then, what are the steps that we need to execute to get us there? Be as precise and as exact as you can. The exact steps that it takes to make it work out this way. Are there roadblocks that would prevent us from delivering that ultimate experience? Because the fundamental goal is to create an ultimate client experience for every client, for every prospect, every single time.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. One of our best sales speakers ever. I'm going to say the best sales speaker ever, Scott McKain. Thank you, Scott. That was great.
He's dynamic, engaging, uses a lot of humor.
Uses great examples.
It's giving me ideas and helping me to figure out how to make my business distinctive.
The customer demands more, and therefore we have to demand more of ourselves. Harvard recently wrote that the corporation now is primarily a stage upon which you showcase for your customers and your employees and your prospects. So if I'm doing business with you, how's the show? What type of experience are you creating for your customers, and how are you helping them create experiences that are absolutely amazing? In my first book, All Business is Show Business, I wrote that the purpose of any business, the purpose of what you do with SAP, the purpose of what you're helping your customers do, is to properly create experiences so compelling to your customers that their loyalty becomes assured. In other words, what we learn is that customers have raised the bar. The benchmark is higher than it's ever been. The challenge for us is, how do we not only satisfy them, but thrill them, to amaze them, to keep them coming back? I get in the back seat of the guy's cab. He jogs over, gets my luggage, jogs back, puts it in the trunk of his cab, jumps in the driver's seat, turns around to me in the back and says, "Mr. McKain?" I said, "Yeah, but how'd you know my name?" "Saw it on your luggage, figured I might as well use it." He said, "I'm Taxi Terry." Great, I got the motivational cab driver, right? And one of the just knocked me out studies that I found was research that says at retail stores in the United States, between 60 and 70% of the frontline people cannot describe why you are a superior choice from the competition. If the people in the front lines of our stores don't think we're distinctive, how in the world do we transmit that to customers? Maybe some of the people we need to be selling are the people that work for us, not the people that we want to buy from us.
His tone of voice, it keeps you intrigued, and it's just a smooth flow.
Great energy, outstanding communication.
His speech is flawless. He doesn't even stop for a moment.
Wasn't he absolutely amazing?
That was unbelievable.
As we've interviewed customers, one of the things they keep telling us is, it's all the same. I can't tell the difference between one retailer and another, their products from one another, their service from one another, the experience of shopping there from one another. If customers can't tell the difference between you and the competition, then they're going to choose on the basis of price. And why wouldn't I if I don't see any difference? Hey, come to us. Look at what we've got. Here's our stuff. Come buy it. As opposed to saying, here's why we're a better alternative than the competition. So the critical question is, how can they tell the difference between us and the competition? Why would they choose us as opposed to the competition? We've got competitors imitating us, and in some cases, maybe we're trying to imitate their advantages. We've got customers with more information than ever before, meaning a more competitive situation. We've got our best customers taking us for granted, and perhaps we're taking them for granted as well. Each of these is a significant challenge, but collectively they create a collapse of distinction. So the fundamental question is, can anybody make a difference? And I'm going to suggest to you, I think that's the only way that it happens. See, I don't think parts and service departments get better. I think parts and service people get better. I don't think dealerships get better. I think the people in those dealerships get better. I don't think businesses grow. I think the people in those businesses grow. People, it's you and me. We're the ones that have to decide to make a difference.
For you see, sir, Hertz can always get another car. We could never get another Mr. McKain.
I didn't mean to hit him, he stopped. And at that instant, I became a Hertz customer forever, for life, right? Avis is €1 cheaper, I don't care, right? Because Hertz is connected with me in a manner that was emotional and complete and compelling. It wasn't about the transaction, it was about the experience that created a customer for life. It's what I've termed the ultimate customer experience. We own the trademark on that term, I've been talking about it so long. It simply asks the question, what is the ultimate experience that a customer could have with you?
By the age of 21, Scott McKain had met with the President of the United States in the Oval Office and the Chairman of General Motors in GM's Detroit boardroom. His early experiences inspired a lifelong commitment to innovative business ideas. Forbes has named his blog as one of the top resources for thought leadership. Social Media Marketing Magazine called him one of the 50 most influential marketing experts, and Jen Juice named him one of the top 25 people for young professionals to follow on Twitter. He's been quoted repeatedly in the Wall Street Journal and New York Times, featured in USA Today and on Fox News. And his book, Create Distinction: What to Do When Great Isn't Good Enough to Grow Your Business, was named by 30 major newspapers like the Miami Herald as one of the 10 best business books of the year. From playing the villain in a film that Roger Ebert named as one of the 25 greatest films in the history of the cinema, to being a nationally syndicated commentator seen weekly by millions, to a successful business leader, Scott McKain's background is diverse and profound. It's why this Hall of Fame speaker is the highest-rated presenter in the history of technology giant Cisco, and why he's the perfect choice for your next event.
So when you get back home from this important event, you're getting ready to hit it one more time. Would you think about what we talked about this morning? Maybe splash a little cold water in your face. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, today I create distinction. Thank you for the chance. That's it. I appreciate it. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. One of our best sales speakers ever. I'm going to say the best sales speaker ever, Scott McKain. Thank you, Scott.
That was great. Fantastic.